Bernie Sanders, Joe Biden, septuagenarians in their 70s, high 70s. They check every box of risk factors. What does this mean for how they're conducting themselves during the election? Look, either Trump is going to be president or one of these two men is going to be president, and it should be something that we care about. Senator Sanders is here tonight. He just held a coronavirus roundtable in a crucial battleground he's fighting to win tomorrow. Tomorrow cannot matter more in the Democratic primary than it does. Senator, it is great to have you. It's great to see you. Let me take one step sideways. As tough as vetting in an election and a primary in government can be, you know that I care about you as a person before anything else. And I am worried about this. I don't have coronavirus panic. I don't do fear. But have you thought about it? You're shaking everybody's hands. You got crowds in the thousands and tens of thousands. You're all over the country, in and out of planes. Do you have to think about it, given what you might mean to the party and who you are and your age and your health and stage?
Well, I think every American has got to think about it. And we, before we do rallies, consult with local public health officials to make sure that it's okay. So we've never done a rally without the approval of local public health officials. But I think, Chris, the question you're asking is going to reverberate all over this country. Basketball, the NBA is going to have to ask itself what it does in the future in terms of professional basketball. The NCAA is going to have to ask itself that question. Broadway and theater groups all over the country are going to have to ask themselves that same question.
I want to know what your guidance is in general about how people should approach this. But I do want to say, you check a lot of boxes. I don't. You may be smarter. You'd probably take me if we played one-on-one. I've been watching you shoot. You still got the form. But your age, your stage, your health, I know you're doing well, but you check different boxes. Are you thinking about it? You and Biden both.
Well, of course,
Biden or Trump are going to be president of the United States. You all have the same vulnerability.
I would hope, Chris, that every American is thinking about it. Look, we had a coronavirus forum today. We brought some of the leading experts in the country together to talk about where we are as a nation and where we've got to go. And the bottom line here is, for me, for you, for Trump, everybody in this country, what we need is leadership that is based on science. We need to have the best scientists in this country and in the world coming together to direct how and where we go. And one of the things that disturbs me very much about the Trump administration is somebody like Mike Pence, who is leading the task group on coronavirus, is not only not a scientist, his record is kind of anti-science. So we have to do a number of things. One of the things, Chris, and I know you and I have discussed this in different contexts in the past, think about a healthcare system today in which 87 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. We're the only country, major country, not to guarantee health care at all. Think about somebody watching this program right now who may be feverish, who may be having a cough, maybe saying, God, do I have the coronavirus? But I can't afford to go to a doctor. I can't afford the couple of $100 it may cost me. Think about a worker who's making $13, $15 an hour, who doesn't have any paid medical leave, who has to go to work tomorrow because if he or she doesn't go to work, they don't have the income to take care of their family. So one of the proposals that we have made is that in this moment, while we move toward Medicare for all, every worker in America should be able to go to a doctor when you are sick right now to make sure that you get the testing that you need to determine whether or not you're sick.
Should be
every worker who is sick. That's right. Every worker who is sick should stay home.
They should pay you for it. And if that winds up being that the federal government has to get involved and pick up the tab, I mean, it's no time for that, any other kind of BS. If you want people to stay home because they're being quarantined, the employer's got to step up. If you want them to go get tested, you got to make sure the testing is being picked up. It's no time for any other kind of politics. The only reason I'm asking you
about
exactly
right, Chris.
Senator, is your rallies and stuff going forward. You, Biden, and Trump, all three of you. One of you is going to be president of the United States, and you're all very vulnerable to this. Is your team? Look, I'll offer you my whole show to come in and talk healthcare just to make sure you're not out on the hustings shaking 1,000 hands, because I know you guys are all going to do it. You can come into the studio whenever you want. We'll do the whole night on healthcare. But are you thinking about it at the team level? What positions they put Bernie in?
Yeah, of course.
What they expose you to?
Yeah, of course we are. I have used more hand sanitizer in the last 2 weeks than I've used in my entire life. Yes, we are thinking about it.
Someone
and I
comes
appreciate
up,
your
Bernie,
concern.
you know, your
And we
ideas
should
about
be
health care,
concerned.
you're saving my family, they reach over to hug you, you're going to hug them. You know, people want to kiss you and say, you know, Senator, you fighting the fight for me. Thank you. You know,
we're aware of this, but it's not just me. Let's be clear. It is the American people. And and as I said, I worry very much that when we have a president, Chris, and again, I don't want to be too political here, but when you're dealing with science and you're dealing with the president who makes absurd remarks, it worries the whole world and it worries
and the unknown is
the
shaking
people of this country.
And now we're seeing the residue. You know, forever, you know, you've been yelling at me.
You're right. That is exactly right.
But now, all the time that they said, yeah, he lies, that's what they do. Now they can't trust him. And now they're worried, and now he's blaming us, and now it's a mess. And Mike Pence is in charge of all of it, and he doesn't even know if the president was tested. He's in charge of national testing and the protocols. He doesn't even know if the president's been tested. Let me ask you about tomorrow night. This is why it matters so much. All right? Michigan. You won Michigan last. I'm going to ask you something a different way. All right? Everybody's saying you're going to win, how you're going to win, why you're going to win. Forget it. You can't know right now anyway. In 2016, you won. People didn't see it. What is interesting in the poll numbers to me, I'll put up the national poll that's latest now. You've seen it. Biden's got a good wide. Let me beat you to the punch. Neither of us care about the national poll. In Michigan, the numbers seem similar. What I looked at in the poll that I think I want you to address, Senator, is you beat Clinton because she didn't get the African Americans out. She didn't get white working class voters out the way you did. You beat her, I think, by 15. With white working class voters. He is up in the poll in white working class voters. You have to win. You have to win with white working class voters, and you need African Americans to give you a shot. Do you think you can get it done?
Yeah, I do. I think, as you well know, Jesse Jackson, who is one of the great figures in modern history, the man, you know, and I've said this before, not only did he help lead the fight as a young man against segregation and racism in the South. He was up north fighting for the economic rights of the African American community and for all of us. And he just endorsed our campaign yesterday. And I think that is significant. Big endorsement. He has a lot of respect, not only in the African American community, but throughout the United States as well. I think also that our message, you know, polling is one thing. You remember, Chris, that last year, just this time, not last year, 4 years ago at this time.
You were getting your clock
The polls had me 25 points down.
Yeah.
And we won. Now, I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. But I think that the working class here in Michigan and throughout this country understands that in Joe Biden, you have a candidate who is being supported by Wall Street, who is being supported by at least 60 billionaires, somebody who voted for disastrous trade agreements like NAFTA and PNTR, which cause real serious problems here in Michigan, in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. Somebody in terms of women's rights is not as strong as the candidate we need. Somebody, in fact, you know, people are asking themselves, well, like Bernie or like Joe, who can beat Trump? That's what Democrats, independents, some Republicans are thinking. And to my mind, Chris, this is really a no-brainer. Our campaign is the campaign that can bring young people into the political process, that can speak to working class people, some of whom voted for Trump.
I hear the argument.
Trump, we're going to need the largest voter turnout.
You need them to show up. We have to see it in the primaries, and we'll see it tomorrow night. I want to ask you something about the state.
But it's not just the primaries. Chris,
go ahead.
You're going to need the primaries on one thing.
Yes.
Primaries on one thing, and you're right, obviously. But we need them to show up in the general election. Does anyone really believe, let me throw it out to you, you know this stuff, that a campaign like Joe's, which is frankly the same old establishment politics supported by the wealthy, and I know they got all the governors and the senators supporting them. Does anybody really think that that is going to be the campaign of excitement and energy that's going to grow the base that we need to defeat Trump? I don't think so. Listen, say that honestly as a friend
I
of
get
Joe's.
your case, and you know the counter-argument. They say, yeah, well, look what happened last Tuesday. He got all the votes that he needed and then some, and you're calling the establishment what his voters called Democrats and African Americans. That's the state of play. But something happened on my show.
No. Hold it. That is not fair. I'm calling the establishment the 60.
Go ahead.
All right, because let me define what I mean by establishment. Don't do it for me.
Oh, okay.
What I mean by establishment is there are 60 billionaires who are supporting his campaign.
But you said the
Mike
voters
Bloomberg,
that he
is
has
it
the
fair?
establishment
No, I
voters.
didn't. No. Nope. I didn't. Oh, if I said that, then I misspoke. What I'm talking about is the establishment of. Can we call billionaires part of the economic establishment, Chris?
Call them whatever you want.
Can we call Mike Bloomberg? Call him Mike Bloomberg part of the establishment. Wall Street, who is taking out their checkbooks. The healthcare industry that is taking out their checkbooks. That is the establishment. We are taking them on.
I get
but
what
I
you're
think
saying.
at the end of the day, let me finish.
Go
At
ahead.
the end of the day, Chris, I think here in Michigan and around this country, people are sick and tired of billionaires buying elections. They're sick and tired of an economy that works very well for the people on top, but it's not working well for working class people who are going nowhere in a hurry over the last 45 years. This country needs Medicare for all, like every other major country on earth. We need to make sure that the wealthy start paying their fair share of taxes. We need to deal with the crisis of climate change. That's what our campaign is about. It is not what Joe's campaign is about.
Let's leave it on this. I think that what we'll see play out tomorrow night is a function of what people have more confidence in or what they're less concerned about. What you're promising for the future and how to get there versus what Biden may have represented in the past. And it'll be an interesting measurement at a very interesting time. I don't want to keep you longer than promised. Senator Sanders, thank you for being with us. Stay healthy, stay vibrant. Good luck to you tomorrow night. I look forward to covering you in detail all night long.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you.
Be well, Senator. Stay well. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
All right. Look, listen, this is not a fishing expedition. The president, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, they check a lot of risk boxes. One of these people are going to be your leader for the next 4 years. We got to make sure they take care of themselves. If they're going to go out there and campaign and do things, and then one of them winds up getting sick, God forbid, was it worth it? So we got to be thinking about it. I got to ask the questions.